Hi, it's Chef Rick, and today I'm making Cavolo Nero Gnocchi. So we're going to start with this. These are the leaves of the Cavolo Nero plant, which means black cabbage in Italian. When you buy it in English supermarkets, it will come like this, but you often find it with a big, kind of thick root on it. It's an amazing looking plant. When you get it from the supermarket, you only need to snap off like I'm doing here. If there's any really kind of rooty bits or really thicker bits of the stalk, you just want to snap those off. But basically the whole thing's going to soften and cook really beautifully. So we're going to put that first of all into boiling salt water. Use the biggest pan that you've got. We're going to boil that for 4 minutes. Monitoring the heat the whole time, making sure every one of those leaves is nicely covered. But yeah, you boil that for around about 4 minutes and get that straight off the heat. And then you are going to shock it. Literally by putting it into iced water. And the iced water there, what that does, it stops the cooking happening immediately, and it also makes sure that you keep all of that colour in there. So this is often the case when you're boiling veg. If you then plunge it or shock it straight into iced water after you've done it, it'll stop the cooking process and keep that beautiful colour. Some Parmesan cheese, which we're just going to grate now, and we're going to be using the Cavolo Nero to make almost like a pesto, so that's what this part is going to be for. So we're just going to grate the Parmesan cheese quite finely there. Again, all the quantities will be down in the description below. 2 large cloves of garlic. First thing we're just going to do is top and tail them, which means chopping off the top and the bottom and then peeling them. And then we're just going to give them a rough chop, because along with the Parmesan and the Cavolo Nero, this is just going to go straight into a food processor. So we don't need to chop those too finely at this stage. Take out the leaves from the ice water. Just give them a squeeze just to drain off any excess water. The cooking water, not this water that you shock them in, but the actual cooking water, keep some of that to one side. We're going to need a little bit of it shortly to loosen this, so keep the cooking water to one side. We're now just going to chop up the leaves. And there's the Cavolo Nero ready to go. Look, I see how it's kept its colour. It's absolutely beautiful. So into a food processor, which I borrowed from a wonderful neighbour. I still only have a blender. I need to buy a food processor. I keep giving her a ring and saying, "Oh, can I borrow this?" So it's amazing. I have to buy one for myself. In goes the Cavolo Nero, the chopped up garlic and the Parmesan cheese. Some black pepper and some salt. Extra virgin olive oil, and now give that a really good blend. You'll see why the food presser is so much better here than a blender. You see how it catches totally, everything's in there and it's getting really nicely mixed together. This is still a very, very thick pesto, and what we want is a very, very thick sauce. So to turn that kind of pesto texture into a sauce, we're going to add some of that. Well, it doesn't look really cool or really beautiful there, but that's the reserved cooking liquid from when we did the leaves at the beginning. So you watch as we pour that in, when it suddenly catches, and there you go. This is going to turn into a really beautiful, rich, green, vibrant sauce. So there you go. So that's our pesto, or the Cavolo Nero sauce that we're going to have with the gnocchi. That's cold at this stage, so we're just going to put it into a saucepan, because that's how we're going to heat it later on. But for now, that's done. Next stage, we're going to make some gnocchi. So to make gnocchi, this is the very traditional Italian way to make gnocchi. We're just going to put the potatoes into boiling water with the skin on. That's boiling salt water with the skin on. And we're probably going to boil those for around about 20 minutes. You want them to boil until the skin starts to loosen, whereas I maybe went 2 minutes over, so you can see that the smallest potato started to split apart, which in fairness was a sign. It was like, there you go, they're done. That one, the biggest one, I could just feel that it was kind of, the skin was loose. So just take those off the heat, put those onto a plate to cool down. And you want these to cool down until you can actually handle them. I've used a Maris Piper potato here, or basically what you might call an all-rounder. So let those cool until you can handle them. So again, probably needs about 20 minutes or so. This is not a recipe that you want to rush. Peel off the skin with your fingers. You can see you just need to rub it like that with your thumb and it starts to come off. A little bit of effort, but it is worth it. I never used to make gnocchi this way. I used to peel the potatoes first before boiling them, but this way I must agree, it does it keeps more of the flavour in there, so it's worth doing. Now these potatoes are completely cold, so I'm using my new potato ricer. But if you've not got a potato ricer, don't use a masher, use a grater on its thickest setting, because you want this to be really, really small and mix easily. So that's a potato, you see. There we go. So to that, we're going to add 1 egg. And we're going to start adding plain flour too. Now ultimately you want about the same weight in plain flour as you've got of potato, but for now just start sprinkling some in to allow it to combine, because the first thing we're going to do is mix it in a bowl with a metal spoon, just basically give it a little mix. And then when we incorporate the rest of the flour, you want to do that by kneading it on a work surface, which you'll see me do in just a second. But right now this is a super wet dough. And you want to add enough flour until it stops becoming wet. So stick some flour on a work surface there, knead this into it, and you'll see that it becomes less and less flour on that surface because it's going into that gnocchi dough. And you just feel with your hands as you're kneading it, you think, if I left that for 10 seconds it'd stick to the work surface. And all you want to do is just keep kneading it until it's not sticking to the work surface. This will keep absorbing flour, as all doughs will, forever and ever, until you've just ruined it and it's like some hard dough. You don't want that. You want this to be just on the point of not sticking, but still super light. Just give it a good knead. You'll get a feel for it. You can't really go wrong anyway. It's gnocchi. Oh, by the way, as well, we're making a very rustic gnocchi here. This is super authentic, rustic. You might have it just at home on a Sunday gnocchi in Italy. I'll make you some super fancy, pretty gnocchi in another video, but trust me, this is the one that you want for this dish. Whilst I can't stop talking, please, if you like my videos, hit like at the bottom. It's the thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, if you hit subscribe, then you'll get notified basically when I do new videos. I do 3 of these a week, so there you go. Now we're going to roll out that gnocchi dough into a long, thin sausage. And now down the sausage, just start to chop it with a knife. And you're going to make these nice big pillows. And don't forget, once you've boiled these as well, they are going to fluff up even more as well. But that's what you want, these quite delicate pillows. They're still going to be a little bit sticky on the side. They're going to be really soft. You just want to chop them. Often you see people chopping them and throwing them, as they chop each one into the boiling water. I like to chop all mine first and then try and add them all into this bit now, the boiling salt water, as quick as I can, because then they're all going to cook around about the same time, you see. So we're going to add these into the boiling salt water. You can tell when they're done because they're going to start rising to the surface. It's just one of those things, whenever you're boiling things or frying things, often you can tell it's done by the fact that it starts to boil and it starts to rise to the surface. So you'll see it happening here on the vid. First of all, a slotted spoon just around the side once they've been in there for 10 seconds or so, just to make sure none are sticking or catching on the bottom. And you can see there that the gnocchi's starting to rise to the surface, and there you go. So that gnocchi's done, ready to go. That is gnocchi that you can eat right away. I like it like this. My wife likes it. She likes to take it out of there and then fry it with thyme and garlic, so it's kind of got a crispy gnocchi, which is absolutely gorgeous. But when you want it like this to just absorb a sauce, then this is the way to go. So that gnocchi's done. You can see here's the setup now. So we've got, this is cold, don't forget. That pan on the right is warm, so we're just adding some of the Cavolo Nero Gnocchi to the warm pan. And then we're going to put the gnocchi in there as well. Almost on purpose, let some of that pasta water go in with it. Don't carefully strain them before you drop them in to the pesto. Let the pasta water go in, because pasta water is full of flavour. It's got starch in there as well. It's a really important ingredient in any kind of Italian cooking, so make sure some of that pasta water gets in there as well. Give it a good mix round. Watch how it sticks to it. Look at that. Absolutely coated. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, amazing colours, absolutely beautiful. On that kind of, we're going to use, this is almost for decoration, but you want nice big thick slices. This is Pecorino Romano cheese. Pecorino cheese, it means basically from a sheep. It's a sheep's cheese from Italy again, but you want nice big thick strips of it like this, because it's not just for decoration. You want this to be another texture and another flavour to the dish. So into a pasta bowl, a nice warm pasta bowl, of course, goes your gnocchi and sauce, some slices of the pecorino on top, and some high quality extra virgin olive oil. Serve that. It's amazing. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's rich. It's Italian. It's comfort food. It's perfect. This is the second one, just so you can see what it looks like on the fork, although it doesn't really tell you much. But there you go. That's what a forkful looks like. I really appreciate you watching the video. Thank you so much. I hope you try this one. I hope you'll love it, and I'll see you on the next one.